Welcome to the Morning Nerdy News. I'm your host, Gray Falcon. Today we have several interesting things up on the news list, going from updates on Nvidia's new graphics cards that were announced yesterday, and starting out with new equipment that is Xbox branded. So, over on Xbox Wire, they've talked about the design for Xbox, a new look for continuous compatibility. They show several new packaging and the little Xbox logo that will be marked on these to indicate that these are Xbox compatible devices. So if you're interested in seeing what new tech or what existing tech is out there that will be Xbox compatible, you can head over here, read the article, and learn more about it. In other Xbox news, Xbox is going to be at the Tokyo Game Show, and they've put up a little bit of information about what they're having. They're going to say celebrating Japanese game creators and games, updates coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator for PC, Japanese Minecraft community creativity, showcase broadcast in Japanese only. No new next-gen news. So they're not going to be providing anything new on what's coming up with the Series X or Series S. This is, I believe, on September 27th when this is occurring. So if you'd like to find out more about this, you'll be able to tune in, watch it. Unfortunately, it will be in Japanese only. So if you don't speak Japanese, or if there isn't a site that's providing translation, I don't know how much we'll actually get out of this. In the past, there have been some interesting things that have popped up on there, but typically this is more of a Sony show, so it is cool to see that Microsoft is trying to have a presence in this again. But like I said, there's not going to be any new information that really appears in here for next gen. This is mostly talking about existing things and patches that are coming up. Also over on Twitter, Cyberpunk showed off some new imagery with the RTX on, and effectively what that means is this is ray tracing. This is with the new 30 series cards. So you can come in here, see the fantastic lighting effects that are happening with this, how beautiful the rendering is. Overall, they're really good looking scenes. And you can flip through here, take a look. You can see the draw distance and how far that goes. The details on the robots or armor suits. I'm presuming robots, but given what this game is, who knows? It could possibly be people in there. And just the garage. This looks like the scene from The Street Kid, like where you're first coming in and you're down there trying to steal that car for the videos that they've shown. This looks like it's part of that scene. And then we have news that The Division is free right now to own on PC. So this is separate from the Xbox Game Pass news, where this is also free to anyone on Game Pass. Or, sorry, not Game Pass, Xbox Games with Gold. But right now, it's free on PC through PC on Uplay. So if you have Uplay, you'd like to play games on PC, if you haven't played The Division or simply want to get back to the original Division, where if you haven't played it and you're playing The Division 2, here's your chance to pick it up and enjoy that for free. In other first-person shooter news, Destiny 2 Beyond Light reveals how Stasis Subclass customization works. And in this, they come in and they talk about how you're going to get new abilities. So you're going to get perk abilities, and these perk abilities are at a negative to some of your stats. But you'll be able to combine these different perk abilities in order to gain different things. And they say how aspects and fragments can be combined will be up to players. One example that Bungie described was the Frost Pulse aspect, which augments the Warlock Rift ability, freezing any enemy who comes into range. Frost Pulse can also be further augmented, such as with the Whisper or Refraction fragment. Once it has been natted, Warlock Guardians will then replenish some of their class ability energy whenever an enemy is shattered in combat. The cost of using the second fragment is a slight reduction in intellect and discipline. So there you have it, just some of the overall abilities and how they can be combined in order to gain advantage of those. So go over there, read the GameSpot article, check out what's available, and we look forward to having more news on this coming up. And just a reminder that Destiny 2 will be part of Game Pass for everything up until the new expansion once that releases in November. So if you have Game Pass, you'll be able to go on your Xbox, play through all of this. This isn't available on PC for some reason. Not sure why they didn't put it on PC as well. Possibly other contract deals or something, but if you have Xbox, go over, get caught up on your season, and have fun and be ready for the new one to come out in November. And over into tech news, AT&T reportedly backs away from selling Warner Brothers Interactives. They had several offers. People were coming in trying to buy this. With Engadget's reporting here, AT&T is no longer going to sell. They've determined that it's too valuable. They're not getting enough money from the offers, so they are going to keep their product. Then we have over on Gamers Nexus, they've got a write-up of everything that happened yesterday with the new 3080, 3090, and 3070 releases. And they've got the slides showing here. They talk about how performance shown with the 1080 Ti versus the 3090 and the 3080, how that information is a little skewed because they're comparing that in some cases to ray tracing, and the 1080 Ti doesn't have the special cores designed for ray tracing, so it takes up more power to use it, and widening that gap. But for instance, in this one, we can see this is just general leap. This is not RTX on. This is not the ray tracing. So effectively, we have the 3070 and the 2080 Ti there. So definitely a larger bubble, trying to make it stand out in comparison. We don't know how close these will actually be till we get into real testing. But as we can see here, they are definitely close, and there is definitely going to be price drops that should be happening. Now, I've checked, and so far the 2080 Ti is still sitting at that higher price. I looked at one of the EVGA hybrids on Amazon, and it was still being listed for $1,700. And I'll tell you what, at $1,700, when you can wait a month and pick yourself up a 3090 for $200, $300 less, no reason to even consider a 2080. Over on Wccftech, they have some pricing available for these new cards for the third-party cards. However, this is in UK. This is for pounds. So if you're reading through this, the price is probably going to vary some versus the US. However, a lot of these are just slight price bumps up over what would be the $14.99 in the US. So oftentimes, even though the money doesn't directly translate, it's not uncommon for these same prices to be available in the US or close to. Now, in the US, it's unlikely that we'd see a $1559.99. We'd probably see either a $1550 or it would be bumped up to $1,600, just depending. But the $1499.99, that's kind of a direct comparison to the $14.99 in dollars. So you can kind of get an idea of where these are going to fall in the US and other parts of Europe. But come check out these. They don't have EVGAs up on here, and that's just my personal preference as an EVGA card because I really love the hybrid cards. And they have announced that those are going to be out starting with the big Kingpin on the 3090. They'll have a regular hybrid available, and the 3080 will have a regular hybrid available as well as both of their copper cooling for custom cooling setups. And other news from Nvidia, where they had talked about the new 360 Hz displays, Alienware is rolling out laptops with this display. This will be the first laptop to have this, and the 360 Hz refresh rate is going to be available primarily in the Area 51M R2. This is the version that had swappable parts. So if you remember last gen, it was the i9 900K that you could get, and they were talking about being able to upgrade parts in that, replace the graphics cards in those. So they have announced that there will be a second version of this, and it will come with have a 360 hertz screen available to it, probably through upgrade. It probably will not be the standard screen. And the M17R3 will also have support for this as well. And if we head over to some other news, Engadget has also reported that Amazon drivers are hanging phones in trees to get more deliveries. This is an interesting setup because what's going on is Amazon has made it so they ping out and send for pickup to have delivery sent out for third parties from their warehouse. But those reports go out to vehicles that are closest to the location for pickup. So what's happening is people who make these deliveries, so these third-party companies or independent drivers, are going and they're hanging phones up in trees, and then they will get that ping first. So they have these phones hanging in trees and then synced with their normal phone, and they could be blocks away, they could be miles away, but all of a sudden they're getting pinged for a pickup. They can go ahead and mark that they're going to get it and head over to get that in order to gain additional business for themselves, kind of cheating the system. And it does go in here that this could be breaking Amazon's contract with these drivers for competition and for terms of service. So this may become a problem for drivers who are utilizing this, but for the moment, they are taking advantage of this in order to earn additional cash. We'll see how long this lasts or what consequences end up leading from this. But right now, if your package is a little bit longer getting out than you would expect, it could partly be because of this. And then, over on Engadget, we have one final thing. This is relating to Apple's 30% cut. Russia has proposed a law that could force Apple to cut their store fees to 20%. Now, this is only a proposed law. This is not something that is currently in effect. But last month, Russia had antitrust authorities go in and said that Apple was overstepping its bounds for the Control Kids screen time. It's an app that they have over there to regulate how much time kids are spending on their devices. And Apple basically stopped them from being able to use their services, probably because Apple wasn't getting a cut of this purchase. More likely, you went over on their website, you signed up, you set it up, you paid your monthly fee through there, and then you just used the app to control it. Well, this is just me presuming, because this is the type of thing that's happened before, that they were unable to receive 30% of their money coming from that. This app was being downloaded for free, and they're not making money off of this cut, so they probably blocked them. So Apple's getting ready to have lots of different lawsuits beyond just the Fortnite worldwide. This is mentions that there are other locations that are starting to see issues with this. So Apple may be changing their policies if they're going to have to deal with this on a worldwide scale. And it could be a country by country thing. We could see some countries maintain this and other countries go to other setups. But if enough countries push back, we could see a worldwide overall change for what Apple's standard cut is, what their setup is for what's allowable, in order to make it easier for overall one single processing setup for their engineers to go in and set up software. Because while doing software for different countries is feasible, it does add a lot of cost and make things more difficult. And if your price is being reduced for how much money you have coming in, that's going to affect those types of decisions as well. Well, again, thanks for watching. Remember to click the follow button or subscribe button. And remember to follow me over on Twitter as The Gray Falcon. And you can hit me up with any news that you may see that you want to see in here. Otherwise, thank you and have a good one.